Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Quarantine with Jonathan, or the Quarantine Diaries, day 8, or 6 days to go. That's another way of looking at it. Yeah, we are now over the hump. We're on the downhill. But, yeah, it's been a strange sort of 24 hours since I made the last video. I have to say my sort of general mood has declined a little bit. I guess that's partly to do with the fact that, you know, yesterday was like a milestone I'd been looking forward to, the 50%. It was like a target in my head to get to, and then, as is often the case when you reach a target, after that has passed, perhaps, you know, you can start to feel a little bit directionless or a little bit demotivated. So I guess that's kind of what's happened over the last 24 hours. The space ahead now feels sort of empty, although I am moving, you know, towards the release date. The next few days just feels like a long mush of time now that I have to sort of wade through. That's sort of the way I'm feeling. I'm going to talk a little bit about maybe why I'm feeling that way, and hopefully by sort of dissecting that and examining it a little bit, I might manage to pick myself up a little bit and get out of the little rut that I'm in today, as evidenced by the fact that I'm still in my sleepwear, and it's coming up to 6:45 in the evening. I haven't even taken a shower today or really done much to take care of myself. So yeah, what's going on? Well, I slept a lot. Actually, like I stayed up late last night, up till about 3 o'clock in the morning, watching movies. I watched the Joker movie, which, despite the fact that it was, as everybody says, quite brilliant in terms of acting, performance, and writing and things, it's perhaps not the best kind of thing to be watching in a situation like this. You know, a movie about sort of intense sort of mental illness and violence and sort of the dark sides of humanity. And yeah, on reflection, it wasn't the best thing I could have watched, but, you know, it was interesting, and it passed a few hours, you know, quite effectively. But yeah, so I slept at 3 after having watched that, and then I slept quite deeply and quite solidly through till about 11. I was late taking my temperature again, so I had to do that a couple of hours late and send it in to the hotel. And then after that, I went back to sleep again, and I slept all the way through till about 3. So in total, maybe like 12 hours sleep that I had today, which is more than I would normally get. It's definitely more than I've been getting in here. I didn't really feel any need to get up, and part of me felt like, you know, sleep more, because when you're asleep, time passes quickly, right? You wake up and it's, you know, half a day's gone, which isn't a bad thing necessarily for me. You know, if I could go to sleep now and wake up on release date, then that would actually be quite a tempting proposition. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of happy that I'm able to get into that deeper sleep that had been eluding me recently, you know, and especially in the first week. So yeah, I don't know whether to feel happy or sort of, you know, worried about that. But, you know, if you do sleep through a large part of the day, and when you do get up, there's not much daylight left, that can also be a sort of a bit of a downer on your mood. Like, I only had sort of 2 or 3 hours before it started to get dark outside, and so I kind of feel like I'm on the night shift now, which is something I've done before in my life. You know, I've worked night shifts before, and I you know, it does have a psychological effect when you're up more at night than in the day. One of the benefits is, or one of the, you know, reasons it's not so bad as it could be, is actually, you know, people in the UK tend to be up when I'm, you know, when it's nighttime in Taiwan, the time difference. So you know, I do still have people to talk to at night time. It's not as sort of lonely as it could be. But yeah, I mean, sleeping late is something that I definitely feel that I want to do. I don't like going to bed. I think that's one of the problems. And I guess the reason is because when I'm up, I'm doing things, I'm distracting myself, I'm finding ways to fill the time. And you know, when you get into bed at night and you turn the light on, turn the light off, that's when the sort of the demons come out, as it were. You know, you don't have that crutch anymore of your phone in your hand and messages and communication and information, and you're sort of alone in your head in the dark, and that's yeah, that's something which I don't look forward to each night. You know, going to bed is my least favorite part of the day, whereas in my normal life, you know, I love getting into bed at the end of a long day, putting my head on the pillow, and I've never had a problem sleeping in my life, really. I can kind of sleep anywhere, on planes and trains, and but here it's different. It's something that, while I want to do it in order to pass time, the actual bit before you go to sleep is not so pleasant. There was a quote I heard recently, I can't remember who said it, but it was something along the lines of the only way you go to sleep is by pretending to go to sleep. You have to pretend for a while, close your eyes, and, you know, sort of wait for it to happen. Which, yeah, as I said, I don't really enjoy. But I think that's part of the reason, is that sort of fear of being left alone with my own thoughts for too long at night, but also the fact that my day, or, you know, whatever happens before I go to bed, you know, it might be day or it might be night, but my time before sleep is sort of really filled with overstimulation now, in a way. Like I'm getting so much from screens, I'm getting so much sort of sensory input, you know, whether it's playing chess or playing video games or watching Netflix or listening to audiobooks or whatever it is I'm doing. It's a kind of a intensive stream of information going into the brain, which in a way is good, because it, you know, it distracts you and it stimulates you, but it does mean when you try and switch off at the end of it, your brain doesn't want to go to sleep. You know, that feeling where your brain is still running. So yeah, I think that is part of the problem, this issue of trying to be busy all the time in here, so I'm not bored, is having that effect on my feelings about going to sleep and an inability to switch off. So how is it different in normal life? Well, I mean, in normal life, yes, you are still, you know, looking at your phone and watching TV and movies and things, but you're not doing it all day. And in normal life, you do like quite a lot of mundane, everyday things that, you know, break up that time. So, you know, you might go for a walk, you know, go to work, drive your car, hang out your laundry, chat to your friends, you know, all these aspects of day-to-day life, which kind of you don't think about. That kind of gives your brain a rest in a way. You know, it's doing something on autopilot, and you're not getting too much information coming in at once. So those aspects of your day that are mundane, I think your mind sort of needs that and enjoys that. And when you do watch TV or play video games or something, you're getting like a hit of information, and it's sort of a sort of refreshing sort of experience. But again, too much of a good thing can be bad, right? And I think in a message to someone, I described it as like if you're eating sweets or eating candy and that's all you have to eat all day. You know, you might like candy, you might have a sweet tooth like me, but when that's all you're getting and you're not able to provide the other kind of sustenance that your mind and your body also needs, then it starts to become a problem, right? Your teeth start to rot, or your mind starts to rot, I guess, if you're carrying that metaphor over. Not a very nice metaphor. My mind is not rotting. I'm not struggling in that sense, but yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, the balance of real life against the balance of what screens and in the internet and videos and content that is produced to stimulate you. That balance between the two is important. Too much of one can be a little bit of a problem. So the fact is, I have no real life in here. There are little mundane things I can do, like I'm gonna do some washing later. I got some washing powder, and I try to keep my room clean and tidy and pick up the bits, and doing a fairly good job so far of not letting it turn into a complete pigsty, although looking around now I could try a little bit harder, I think. But yeah, there are little bits, but it's not really enough. I'm spending most of my waking hours in sort of entertainment, which might be part of the problem. So taking that on board and thinking about it, I think perhaps a little bit of a change of approach might be necessary now, to embrace like a more contemplative side of the experience of being quarantined. This idea that I don't want to be left alone in my own head. I think I have to challenge that, and it's not even just a problem in quarantine. I'm aware that over the years, with the availability of smartphones and things, I've become more and more dependent on them, and less inclined to be alone with my own thoughts. Even going to the toilet, I've got my phone, I'm scanning the news. I might even play a game of chess or something. So even a short amount of time on my own, I'm like, no, I want something to do while I'm don't really need to be doing anything else. So perhaps now a change of approach, like I said, is needed, and so that's why I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but I hadn't really talked about using it. I've downloaded the Calm app on my phone. I know it's a phone, but hear me out. It's like a meditation app where you stick it on, put your phone down, and it teaches you how to meditate, and it also guides you through. It's like a course basically, and then after that, it opens up into choosing all different kinds of meditations, and not just meditation, but also it guides you through other things like stretching and physical things. There are like sleep stories, there are like calming noises to help you get to sleep at night and stuff. So one of the how to survive quarantine guides that I read actually talked about meditation, and mentioned specifically this app as a way of getting through. And I'd so far been sort of putting it off, because while I'm not against the idea of meditation, and I'm not skeptical of it, I definitely believe in the idea behind it. I guess I was perhaps intimidated by the thought of doing it, especially when I'm on my own, and the sort of fear of opening up Pandora's box when you're already sort of a little bit isolated and vulnerable. I was worried that meditation meant sort of diving into the recesses of your mind, and you don't know what's gonna come up. A bit like taking psychedelic drugs or hallucinogenics or something. You're going on a trip, and might be a bad trip. So, obviously, there's no way I would want to do drugs in a situation like this, and the same sort of ideas I was having about the thought of meditation. So, but actually, when I started using this app, I would say it is really good. If you're looking for something like that, the app is just called Calm, CALM. So far, I had a really good experience with it, and the sort of introduction, the opening sort of lessons on meditation are really nice, and they demystify it, and they take away the intimidating element, or at least they did for me. You know, the guy, the teacher, sort of, one of the first things he tells you about is, you know, it's all it is meditation is just being okay with sitting there and doing nothing. The other stuff might come later, and you'll get better at it, and you'll get different kinds of experiences from it, but the core experience is just being okay sitting there and doing nothing. And it doesn't matter if you're having thoughts, or your mind is clear, or you feel like you're not doing it right or something. He was just like, yeah, you are doing it now. You are meditating now just by being here, listening to my voice. And then there are periods of silence where he just lets you go on your own a little bit. And at the end of the first sort of lesson, he's like, okay, well done. You just meditated. And then the next lesson kind of goes in that same vein. He leaves you alone a little bit longer, but it's taken the sort of scary part of it away from me, and made me realize it's something I can do, and it's actually something I enjoy doing, especially as an antidote to all the information that I've been sort of consuming since I got in here, all the distractions. And I'm going to do a session later on tonight, and I'm actually looking forward to it, which is a strange thing, in this modern world with everything we have available to us. I'm actually looking forward to sitting on my bed with the app to talk to me, and doing nothing for a little while. So yeah, it's so far it's been quite gentle. It's taking me with baby steps to teaching me how to do it. And it's the sort of things he talks about. He'll mention about the fact that a lot of it is just being okay with whatever is happening. So you're sat there, you're in the present moment, and however you're feeling, it's okay. Whether you're having thoughts running through your head, whether your mind is drifting, whether you feel a little bit tired, and whatever thoughts you're having, it's all okay. And being okay with the present moment, he's saying is a crux of the meditation sort of idea. So, not diving into the deepest, darkest recesses of the of my psyche and trolling up anything that's down there. So that's nice. So I'm going to keep going with that, and I'll report back on how I get on with my meditation journey. But again, it's another potentially useful, helpful thing that I can take out of this time, and hopefully continue doing when I get out, and it might have a positive benefit on my life. Lots of people said their life got better when they started meditating, not just feeling calmer, but also being more productive, being more compassionate, more patient, sort of just getting on better in their life, basically. So yeah, if I can get another positive out of this experience, it's not just getting through quarantine, it's something I'll be given to take away. That that should be quite nice, right? So balancing time alone, time in my head with the entertainment sort of distraction aspect of this experience is where I'm at right now, And again, everybody has been flooding me with ideas of what I could be doing or should be doing while I'm in here. 101 different ways to sort of entertain yourself, which again, I appreciate all the tips and ideas. But yeah, at this stage, it's not about not having things to do. It's a lot of the things are actually sort of losing their appeal again. That's another thing that's happening as time goes on. I haven't played my Switch in a couple of days. Haven't played any chess for 24 hours at least. Haven't watched anything on my laptop for a while. All the things I have to do, they're still there, but I just don't feel really like doing any of them. That that's also true for food. Like, I'm losing my appetite in here now. That's something I've noticed has really started to kick in. Like, today, all I've eaten is half a sandwich, and I just don't feel hungry at all. Like, I ate it and I was like, I should probably finish this sandwich. You know, I do need sustenance, and I took a few more bites, and then I just wasn't feeling it, feeling a little bit nauseous. And that was at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, when the last thing I'd eaten was maybe 9 o'clock the previous evening. So, quite a long time without food, and then I wasn't hungry. But other people that have done quarantine have told me that that's kind of how it goes. I was already comfortably down to 2 meals a day, and now it's almost like I'd be happy with 1 meal a day. Part of that's the fact that I slept for quite a long time, I know. But yeah, I don't really know how to feel about that. I'm not hungry. I mean, I can force myself to eat in order to, pack in the calories. I don't really need the calories. I'm still doing like workouts and walking around, but I still feel like I don't need the amount of food that I'm being given. I could get by on half or a third of it. But then I did start to worry a little bit about nutrition and that aspect. If you're not eating properly, proper size meals, you're probably not getting the necessary amounts of vitamins in. So I did order in some more smoothies and some more juice. So I did actually have a smoothie today as well. Yeah, I've got ordered a little bottle of multivitamins to supplement. I'm not really a believer in multivitamin supplements. All the evidence I've seen on them is that they don't really have any effect. At least if you're eating a sort of normal balanced diet, supplementing it with vitamins, your body's not really able to use all those things that you're putting in that form. But I thought in this case it can't really do any harm if I'm worried that I'm not really getting the food that they're giving me isn't terribly balanced anyway. There's not that much. There's veg, there's not very little fruit. So yeah, ordered in the smoothies, and I will probably order in a new one every day. So I'll try and get some fruit and veg by a smoothie in every day. I could also order in some fresh fruit, actually. It doesn't all have to be smoothie, but yeah, should probably do that. But yeah, I've been drinking tea, and now I've got my multivitamins. So yeah, the appetite side of things it's not something I'm worried about, but it's something that I've certainly noticed, and I had been told to expect. So it's not entirely unexpected. Yeah, okay, we're running quite long on this video now. Don't know how interesting it's been so far, but again, I'm offloading, so if you're interested or not, at least I am getting a chance to unload some of the things that are rattling around in the old tin can up here. Other things that I've been thinking about and been asked about. Yeah, my uncle mentioned a question about the sounds in the hotel, and whether I'm aware of the other guests. Guests is a strange word to use for what we're doing, but yeah, the other people who are quarantining. And the answer is almost entirely not. Like, I really don't hear much at all from my room. Really all I'm hearing from other people is when they open their doors to put something out. So I'm hearing like the door open and like the click of the door closing again, occasionally like a rubbish bag being put down. If I open my door, I can hear noises from TVs and things coming from other rooms, but actually in my room I don't. And I have been told to avoid opening my door as much as possible, like only do it when you need to avoid sort of contact with the corridor, which is an area that's being used by the people bringing the food, and you want to minimize any kind of contact between yourself and those people, and potentially other guests if they're opening their doors at the same time. I don't know. So yeah, it's not something I do very often, but when I do, I am hearing noise. But it's that kind of half half hearing noises. So I mean, I can sort of hear that they have a TV on and there's or some music on, but I can't really hear what it is or hear any voices or words. It's just a sort of a certain range of, you know, like a tinny sort of sound coming from other rooms. So it has been quite quiet. I get some noise from the street, from traffic, scooters going past. It's not constant and it's not noisy, but it's, you know, I'm aware of it. There is a loud, I think it's like a, I can't remember what they're called, like a Taiwanese blue jay, I think. There's a bird that squawks quite loudly in the morning. I hear that guy. There's a little Japanese white-eyed birds I mentioned before. I've seen them again, by the way. That's nice to see. I can, if I'm at that window, I can sometimes hear them. But apart from that, it's very quiet, and that adds a little bit to the sort of a sensory deprivation aspect of being in here. There's not much to look at in my room, and there's also not much to hear. Which, to be honest, I think is a good thing. Like, I would... Oh, I can just hear the garbage truck now. I don't know if you can hear that. It's garbage collection time on my street, it seems. But yeah, I think it's a good thing I can't hear too much going on from the other rooms, because I have a feeling it would annoy me more than comfort me at this stage. Like, while it's nice to know there are other people alive around me, if I could hear their music or their TV when I was trying to do my own things or be, you know, alone with my own thoughts, that would annoy me, I think, and that would grate. And so I'm quite grateful that there haven't been any sort of aggravating noises, you know, roadworks or, yeah, loud TVs or loud music coming from other rooms, because I think it would be, it wouldn't be a good thing for me to have to put up with that, and yeah, it would probably add to my level of stress, I reckon. So yeah, the quiet is quite nice. I can fill it with sound if I want to put music on, or I want to, you know, watch something, listen to something. But otherwise, if I want quiet, I can get it. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. And oh, another question was, what's happened to Sheldon? Which is a very good point. I introduced him in one of the first videos, and then he's been absent since. So here he is. He is doing quite well. He has far fewer requirements than I do, so he's quite happy moseying around on the desk or in the bed. And yeah, not a great conversationalist, it has to be said. Are you? Quite strong and silent type, Sheldon. But yeah, at least he's here with me, and you know, he might not talk much, but yeah, I usually put him somewhere where I can see him, so I haven't started having conversations with him yet. We still have 6 more days for that, so who knows what will happen in the next few days. Yeah, and the very last thing I wanted to mention today is that, you know, a little bit of perspective for me. I was looking at some news earlier, and I saw a report about people quarantining in Hong Kong, and there was a photo of the outside of the hotel building, huge block, and in Hong Kong they have to do 21 days of quarantine in a room like this, so a week longer than I need to do. And apparently it's having like quite a severe effect on the people there, and everybody had written on the windows, pasted things on the windows saying things like, you know, 21 days it is not okay. People were writing things like, let me out, I want to break out of here, SOS. Everybody had written how many days they'd been in there on their windows, so it was like 16 days SOS. You sense there was, you know, part of it was people trying to, you know, have a little bit of fun with their window, but at the same time you sense there's some real distress there at the amount of time that they've been in those rooms. So yeah, I mean, that I guess makes me feel a little bit better that at least I only have to do 14 days. It could be worse, but you know, 14 days is still a long time. 21 days is horrendous. I don't know how I would, what kind of mindset I would have to get into to survive another week. I guess you do it because you have no choice. But yeah, a bit of perspective there. Anyway, that's bringing me to the half-an-hour mark, which I think is definitely long enough. I will love you and leave you, and see you again tomorrow. Rest assured, I'm doing okay in here. No need to worry. But yep, thank you for listening to my rambles, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye for now.